Um, Thanks very much for coming along and for everyone that's volunteered to run a team. It's massively appreciated because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to run the IFL. So I thought it would be helpful to go through, like we've done in previous years, how it works, how it's all going to run. And if anyone's got any questions, do fire those off and I'll try and answer them as we go. Can you guys see it all right?
Do you want me to see if I can close the door?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just a bit. So first of all, what is it? So it's the internal franchise league. Every under-8 and under-9 player that are registered for the club get to play in it. Some under-7s, which I'll come back to in a minute. The format is pairs cricket, so it's 8-a-side. We try and keep it to under 2 hours per game. We found, like in the past, if you do a 10-a-side game with this age group, they sort of lose concentration. So it's all about fast cricket, pairs cricket, lots of fun. It's a participation league, so we're not trying to win games. It's all about safe enjoyment, not to be taken too seriously. So I think in previous years, when it first took off, it was a bit too competitive and people were overdoing it. And what I want to emphasize this year, as we've done in previous years recently, is that it's a participation league. It's not about winning. It's about really, this is just a vehicle for giving all of the kids the opportunity to play some cricket in a cricket match game type of scenario. The competitive element slightly comes in where there's a knockout format for the festival, which I'll come on to, and also the IFL finals day. So what the IFL, the actual league, does is it just gives 7 games and an opportunity to play 7 games of cricket. There is a league, and the top 4 out of 6 teams will get to go through to the finals at the end of the season. And that's just one day. So that's how it works. It's unique because we get to cater for hardball and softball players. So the batting pair get to choose what ball it is. And that means that every level of ability can play cricket in the same setting. It requires a lot of management and input from the managers, which again, I'll come on to. And so the volunteers and IFL team managers are absolutely crucial to it. So really lucky this year. I've got, I think, 10 of you guys running it. I'm really keen to get more women involved and cricket mums or parents and carers. It would be great to have some female managers. I don't think we've ever had one, which says all you need to know really about participation in cricket here at Ealing. I think we can do better. And it's something I really want to encourage this season and also for next season. So it's not just all about the dads and the male carers, it's for everybody. Everyone that's going to run a team will need to have got a DBS certificate. And I think everyone on this, everyone that is managing a team has got that, or they're pretty much all the way down that process. So that's an introduction to what the IFL is. Now, it also, before we get on to the IFL, this slide is to try and explain how the MJCA teams work. So the MJCA is the Middlesex Junior Cricket Association League. And I hope this graphic tries to explain, because it's really difficult to get people's head around if you're new to the club. So we've got slightly fewer under 9s this year. We've got 24. We've got 37 under 8s who are registered. And then we're also going to include within this a few of the under 7s. And I've said it's basically by invitation based on how you get on in training. So this is how it works. The MJCA at under 9 level is split into 2 groups. So in group 1, which is nominally the higher sort of standard of cricket, we're entering 2 teams. We've got the under 9As, which are going to be called the Eagles. And we've got the under 9 Phoenix, which is basically for the under 8As. So the Eagles, that's the best 11 or 12 under 9s. It's a softball pairs league. They play 10 games in the league. And in that same group is the under 8As. So they're going to be called the under 9 Phoenix this year. And again, we're going to take out the best 11 or 12 of the under 8s. And like last year, we're going to give 1 or 2 under 7s the chance to play for that team as well. And that's the same. So they'll actually be playing against the team from the year above, the Eagles, the under 9A. So that's the MJCA Group 1. Now look on the left, we've got the under 9 Lightning team. So that's the under 9B team. And this year it's slightly different because we've got so many under 8s and fewer under 9s. So what we're going to do, basically every under 9 that's not in the under 9As, will be put in the under 9B, the under 9 Lightning squad. So that's about 11 or 12 players. We're then going to add in another 5 or 6 under 8s who didn't make it into the 8As, the Phoenix, but they'll all be put together in the under 9B squad, the Lightning, and they'll play in Group 2 of the MJCA. So that's nominally against slightly weaker opposition, different clubs, but again, it's softball, pairs cricket, and you'll get 10 league games. Now, where it becomes slightly harder to understand is what's this under 10 Phoenix all about? Well, what that is that's a team that was set up a couple of seasons ago, and it's designed to cater for the best 11 or 12 under 9s and a couple, 2 or 3 of the under 8s who are already playing hardball cricket and who would like that opportunity to play for the club a year above themselves to play up into the under 10 hardball league. So you might find that in the under 9s, you've already got some quite developed players who've been playing hardball cricket for a year or so, and some under 8s, and that the under 9 MJCA Central League doesn't really stretch them, and they want that challenge of playing hardball cricket against other clubs. That's what the under 10 Phoenix team is for. It was set up a couple of years ago. We're going to just run it in exactly the same way that it was run last year by Chris, and the year before that by Darren, who set it up. And so that's hardball pairs cricket. Slightly different because the wicket keeper, it's a dedicated keeper. You're not meant to change the keeper, but that rule gets frequently ignored. And that will play 9 league games. So you can see immediately here, there is the opportunity to play quite a lot of competitive cricket outside of the IFL. So these are the league teams. So, you might be in the under 9 Phoenix, but also the under 10 Phoenix, if you're those 1 or 2 players, you'd potentially be playing 19 league games. So that should be your focus if you're that type of player. Whereas the IFL, and this is what I really want to stress, is designed really to cater for everybody, but the aim is the focus is on participation. So we're not looking for those, A team or borough players to come into the IFL and think that it's for them to just go and smash it around and score loads of runs and take loads of wickets. It's not the point of it. And that's to be discouraged. So here are the teams. So going to the IFL, hopefully now you can see from this graphic how all of the age groups feed into the 5 IFL teams. So we've got 24 under 9s, 37 under 8s, and I'll probably maybe include 3 or 4 under 7s, which will give us enough players, 65 players, I think that comes to be split between these 5 teams here. To those 5 teams, we add the Panthers, which is a girls' team. So that's for under 10 girls, but with some under 11s and also a few of the better under 9s and under 8 girls. So that gives you 6 IFL teams. The names are on there. Those are different from the MJCA league teams. So these play in our internal franchise league that I was describing earlier. 13 players in each squad. I've spent ages with others around this table going through the squads and also with Shaftab, the head coach, to make sure that they're equally balanced. And I'll show you that in a second. As I said, it caters for hard and softball, both boys and girls. There are actually 7 league matches, not 8. 7 league matches, and then the top 4 will go through to final stage, so an opportunity to play another game then. So those are the teams for this year. Thanks so much to all the managers. I think you already know which teams you're managing. And then the squads. So I think I've sent this sheet round on the WhatsApp group. But this is so you can see each team's got 13 players in it. And what we've tried to do is to basically make it equally balanced based on, broadly on perceived ability. So the kids that are in orange have been lucky enough to get into Ealing Borough. So that's sort of the first rung on the county setup. You then got the under 9As and under 9Bs. That's the Eagles and the Lightning. You've then got the under 8As, that's called the under 9 Phoenix. And then you got the ones in light blue, the under 8Bs. So those are the guys that didn't quite get into the Phoenix this year. A few of them have got into the Lightning, but the rest of them won't be playing league cricket at this moment. They might do. They might get into a squad later on during the season. But right now, the IFL will be their main source of competitive cricket. And I've put in a few under sevens at the bottom as well. So there's an opportunity for a couple of kids to be picked up from the under sevens training. I'm going to come along tomorrow and have a look. So that's how you get your 13-man squads. And as I say, it's 8-a-side games. So we're going to pick 8 kids from 13-man squads or 13-player squads. So that's really how it all fits together this year. What does the schedule look like? Okay, this is the confirmed schedule. So we're going in, hitting the ground running a week on Sunday. 27th of April, first league game. You then got 3 in May. We're not playing at half term because everyone tends to go away for that first weekend. But we then get into June and we are going to play for the last weekend of half term. 2 more league games. And then the league will be finished by the 15th of June. So we'll know who the top 4 are going to be. And then we've got a few different events coming. We've got the under-8 sixes. We've got the festival on the 29th of June and the IFL finals day on the 6th of July. Those are the ones in blue, red and green. Well, what are those? They are an attempt to mix it up and make it super fun for everybody. So the IFL, as I've said, is every Sunday from the 29th of April. It's going to get played at William Perkin. It's 7 league matches. All of those games will start 9, 11:30 or 2 o'clock. And they're all uploaded onto Pitch Aero. So if you need to know what time the fixtures are, go on Pitch Aero and it will all be on there. The under-8 sixes tournament, that's another one of my mad initiatives that we started last year. Yeah, it was a roaring success. We had 250 people at Popesfield for a 12-team tournament with 12 or 11 other clubs. This year we're going to have 10 other clubs because I think it's only fair that Ealing get 2 teams in it if I'm organising it. So it's amazing. It's 6-a-side, fast format cricket. So that's what the under-8s will be doing on the 22nd of June. The under-9s, Paul doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be organising an internal friendly game up at William Perkin on that day. And then everyone's going to pour down here to Corfton Road and support that tournament and have the barbecue and hopefully raise some funds for the club. Because the thinking being, if you got 250 people here at Corfton Road rather than at Popesfield, they can each spend 10 quid in the bar. That's £2.5 grand for the club. So that's the sixes. That's what that's all about. I'm hoping that quite a few of the under-8s that haven't got into the Phoenix will get the chance to play in that. So we're going to do like 8-man squads, which gives 16 kids the chance to play. So that's that one. The festival on the 29th of June, that's completely different from the league. So again, that's just a straight up knockout format. You've got the under-9s, under-11s and the under-14s all playing the festival on the same day. It's an amazing atmosphere at Corfton Road. Everyone then congregates here for the final. There's like a barbecue, presentation, and hundreds of people around the ground. So again, the details for that will be published separately. But yeah, that's what the festival is. It's separate from the league. It's you might have come last in the league, or you might have think, oh, I'm not going to get into finals day. Well, you got a chance to come along to the festival. And in fact, my eldest son, I think they lost every single game in their IFL, and then they came to the festival. They got a bye for the first game. They won the semi-final by a run, and then they got to play in a final. I think they lost, but the whole thought of that opportunity to play in a final, we know it doesn't count for anything, but for the kids, that's where the slight competitive element comes in. I think it's good for them to have a bit of an experience, a bit of pressure and slight competitive element, and that's what the IFL does. It's got a whole season of playing cricket for fun, but then at the end you get the festival, and then the final one is the finals day. And believe me, after they've had 7 games of cricket, and they know what position they're in the league, there's a bit of team spirit by that point. They're all play for the same team. They've got the T-shirts. They make their mates, their friends in that team. And when it's finals day, for them, some of them it actually means something, and that's a really great experience for them to get involved in that. And we'll do the semi-finals and the final on one day. It'll be on the 6th of July this year. Again, all up at William Perkin on the AstroTurf there. So that's the schedule. That's how it's all going to fit together this year. Okay, so most people on this call are here because you've kindly and stupidly volunteered to be managers. So I thought I'd set out what that involves. And I'll send these slides around later, so I'm not just going to read it all out. But really, the main thing is to be the point of contact with parents. So we want proactive communication. So don't sit there and wait for people to get in touch with you. Use Pitch Aero Manager, which I'll come on to in a sec. And that will explain how to select all the teams, the availability on there, and upload the team to play cricket. And I'll come on to come on to that in a second. I have already set up what group I had, and I thought it was just easier to do it myself. But I've done that for you. So everyone's got a WhatsApp group. When I know that you've successfully sent a message on that group, I will leave the WhatsApp group because I've already got too many cricket WhatsApp groups on my phone. But please use the WhatsApp proactively. This is all about fun. It's about building spirit and having lots of fun. So, use the WhatsApp and make sure that everyone knows when their fixture is and that people can use that to build a bit of team spirit. And it's all for fun, really. So that's the first thing, communication. The second thing is to manage the games. So to manage an IFL match, we're looking to make sure everyone's safe. It's the main thing, make sure they're safe. So keep an eye on the kids, make sure they're all together as a team, they're outside of the fenced area at William Perkin, that they're watching the match, that they're alert. And the thing I really want to say is make sure that the game is played in accordance with the spirit of cricket. Now, people have different interpretations of that. It's pretty obvious to me what it is. It just means that everyone is there to have fun, and we're there not to try and win games at all cost. To be decent people with each other, and that's the players and the spectators. And it's not to be taken too seriously. It's not about winning everything, and it's for you guys to reinforce that. So there's been incidents in the past when I first joined the club, I think 4 seasons ago, you go to an IFL game and you'd have parents that were shouting on from the sidelines and moving the field round. It was all getting too much, and that's not the point of it. I remember one incident where there was a run out and some parent on the sideline had got it on his video, and it showed that it wasn't out. And he came onto the pitch and showed it to the guy who was managing the team. And there was a huge furore with parents coming on, kids coming around the phones. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. And that was because at that point, it was a bit of a jungle. There wasn't any real leadership to it. And that's fine. It was something that the parents set up. But now we're into this position where we've done a lot of planning, and people have been around it for a few years, and we can see where we can improve. So that's the point of this meeting. So be proactive. If you think something's not going, how you'd be comfortable with, it's often good just to take a pause, take a step back, have a chat with the other manager, and intervene and be really proactive on that. And that's why I've actually got trusted people that are managing the teams who I'm confident that you're going to do a great job. I'm afraid you've then got to be an umpire as well. And cricket is a game that only works with some structure and some rules. You can't just have a kick around in the park like sometimes you can with football. So I'll come on to the rules. If your team is fielding, then you're the standing umpire for the IFL. We're not changing it around. So that's great, because it means you can help the kids set the field. You can encourage your own bowlers. You can make sure the wicket keeper's looking. So that's what you'll be doing. If your team is fielding, you're the standing umpire. The batting manager is the square leg umpire, and that just changes. That doesn't change. We don't alternate it around. And that also is quite useful, because if you're at square leg, you can come in between the overs and have a little word with the batters, make sure that they're all happy. I'm sorry to say that the match has to be scored on Play Cricket Scorer. I think everyone has got Play Cricket scoring rights. The reason is that, again, look, cricket has statistics. Who was it that said stats are for prats? Probably right, particularly in kids cricket. But we've just found it's the best platform to score a game. And it also means that it all feeds into the system automatically. And it means I don't then have to add it all in manually. So we will make sure everyone knows how to use Play Cricket Scorer, and it will save me a huge amount of time. And the final one is please keep to schedule. because otherwise we've only got the AstroTurf booked until 4 o'clock. We can't have the games going over, or maybe 4:30, I think. So be proactive, get the toss done before the game is scheduled to begin. Make sure the next pair's ready, all padded up. Get the parents to help. So don't manage it on your own. Get everyone involved. And what I found is if you get parents involved, it actually really helps get a good team spirit. And actually, that's probably the reason why all you guys are sat around the table here, is because you've played games where I've been managing it, and I've had people doing the scoreboard, doing the, play cricket scorer, getting people padded up. And it also helps to get like a community sort of feel going as well. If everyone's involved and got a job, they don't have to just sit there watching the game. They can be involved. And then you can manage a team next year as well. And that's why all you mugs around here, because I've got you involved. Okay, so that's what the IFL manager job does. At this point, does anyone have any questions? Anything that's not clear? Cool. Okay. Communications. Bob, you got a question? No,
You got a question, Bob? No, I
No.
just did clear.
Not yet, Bob. It's all
Done a
clear.
very good
Okay.
job.
Yeah.
Very thorough.
Bob, I can
Just a
tell.
question, Tom.
Oh, go on then.
Is the final day, IFL final day, is it moved 1 week earlier? It was.
Sajid, I love the attention to detail, because that change was only made today.
Okay.
Because I only found out today that the AstroTurf hadn't been booked when I was told it had been.
Okay.
Slides. Yeah, you're right. It's on the 6th of July. If it changes and I can winkle another game out of the club, then I will. But at the moment, that's when it's going to be. But yeah, good spot. So
Okay.
communications, I'm massive on clear, straight, honest communications. Just keep it simple. So this is what I'll be doing. I will stay at a high level, and I'll use the under 9 and under 8 WhatsApp groups. So I will be doing stuff like general IFL comms. So maybe after a month, how are you all doing? What's the league table? I will do match cancellations and inclement weather. So if it's going to be a thundery Sunday, I'll be up there at William Perkin. I'll make that call. Again, just to keep it clear and simple, because in the past, different people had different interpretations. That's fine. I'll probably be up there anyway, because kids will be playing cricket on a Sunday. And the other thing that I'll do is extra player allocation. So if you're short of a team, I'll deal with that. I'll sort all that out. Again, the reason is when my son played in the IFL the first time 3 years ago, suddenly a ringer turned up who happened to be a county player, and he took 7 wickets in 2 overs in the IFL, and they had a barnstorming victory because that was worth like minus 35 runs. And that's like completely defeated the point of the whole thing. I mean, the kid now plays in Middlesex and he's still a rapid bowler, but he was brought in as a ringer because they needed to win the last league game to get through to finals day or something. That's just completely pointless, and that's not what we're going to do. So if you are short, then it worked so well last year. Chris did an amazing job on this. I think he was checking pitch area every hour of the night to see who was free, as James would tell us. But I will do the player allocations, and we'll just all talk together about it. And the aim will be to make sure that we're replacing like a like-for-like player. So if you've lost an A-team player, then and some A-team player wants to play 2 games, then that's the one that will play. So that makes it simple. So that's what I'll be doing. What you guys will be doing is nothing to do with me, because I'm going to drop out of the WhatsApp groups. You'll do a welcome message. You'll send general comms each week. You do the team selection. You send them the details of the match, what time it's taking place. And as I said, please be proactive. Let's get the comms really good. And then it runs like clockwork. I've put some sample welcome messages on there. I think these are brilliant messages that people around this table have written. Don't worry, I've blacked out all the names and names of children, so no one knows who they are. But I've put some examples on this. So send them a welcome message. Maybe do it tonight after this meeting. Send it around on the WhatsApp group. When I see that message go out, I'll know it's done. Then I will drop off the WhatsApp group. I'll add you guys as admins if I've not done already, and I'll leave it all to you.
Tom, sorry.
Yes, Dennis.
I've got my old welcome messages from the last few years that I can put into the WhatsApp group if you guys want to copy and paste and edit and stuff like that, rather than it might be easier.
Yeah, that'd be super helpful. So I've actually seen Dennis's welcome message as well from previous year, and it's a real cracker. Sets the tone. It's an opportunity to explain how you're going to run it. Yeah, and you'll see there that one of the messages immediately got 6 thumbs up out of 12 other kids. you know, they're all committed now. And this also helps to get availability going. So I'll be frank, we are quite light on numbers this year. And having 13 kids for 8 starting spots, you'll always find maybe 1 or 2 or 3 don't come at all. I really want to try and stop that this year. I want everyone to play. So if they're on your group and on your team and the parents aren't putting their kid forward for availability, get in touch. And I'll be honest, this is how my oldest boy got into cricket, because the manager said, "You've not come to any games, come along." And he couldn't bowl with a straight arm, he couldn't hold the bat, and it got him hooked on cricket. You know, I hadn't done anything with him because it was COVID, and he came along, played a few IFL games. You know, he got a wicket when it bounced about 4 times, but you know, it was given out then because we didn't have any proper rules, and he absolutely loved it. So if the kid is not playing and it's an under 8B, get them in, get them in. I'd much rather see a whole team of under 8Bs playing than all the borough kids. And you know, if you've got kids in your team that are strong players, don't select them. You know, get all the kids in. It would be amazing if we could get every kid on this list to play 1 game of IFL. That would be a massive success. Don't care about winning games, but let's try and get everyone in. Okay. Team selection. Well, I've sort of touched on that. I'm not going to read the slide out, but I'll send it around. But this is all about the ethos of the IFL. So we're not trying to win games. It's not about picking the best players week in, week out. Got a bit of a system there to try and make sure that it's fair. So if you didn't pick a player 1 week and they were available, they should play the next week. If they're available for the next week, then they should play. And you might need to rest the perceived better players from time to time. And I think that's really healthy. You know, get everyone a go. And it also means not everyone can play every game. And make sure that parents are aware of that. So manage the expectations at the outset. You know, you can use these slides and, you know, adapt that for the sort of welcome message if you like. I've put a few slides on here as to how to use Pitch Aero Manager. So has everyone got Pitch Aero Manager? Go on.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Sorry, just on that, because a thought occurred to me yesterday is when you've got your roster, you got your team, you can't once the team's been defined, that's it. You can't substitute kids in in order to like get them extra time or anything.
Okay, so you got your 13 player squad.
Yeah.
So let's say for the first game you just choose 8. You'll probably have 9 kids available. You know, choose 8.
Yeah.
For the next week, the one that you missed out, that player should be
at the top of the
they
list.
should be number 1 for the following week. And then you pick the availability. You'll never have all 13 available. I mean, there might be a rare occasion. I think Dennis asked the question. You might find that you do have each side has 10 kids available and you could try and do a 10-a-side game. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of it because I find that the kids lose, you know, 8-a-side is the right length. But if you think you can do it maybe a bit later on in the season and you've got 10 kids available, do a 10-a-side game. And that's fine. I mean, this is just all about participation and getting the most players a game. But I reckon that'll be quite rare, and the best solution might be for them to play.
I was thinking about a couple of years ago when we had 20 kids on every team and everyone was showing up, so we had to do 10-a-side just to get kids games.
I mean, I think
13 kids.
It's a good point. I mean, I think in previous years it's been a bit more informally organised, whereas I'm afraid this year it's being run like it's the IPL. I mean, we just need a sponsor. So you'll have 13 kids, but I want all of them to play. I don't want there to be any sleeping members. You know, I really do. I think if we can get every player on this list to play a game of cricket,
at least
at least a game,
too,
then I'd be so happy. And that requires proactiveness from everybody.
Can I ask? So then, as managers, hello, Martin here. So as managers, are we saying then there'll be matches where we have to sort of turn up, but our kids won't be on the team, basically?
Okay, look, it's a really good question. It's a tricky balance to strike. I think I'll leave it with you guys to make the call. There have been managers where there's been games where I've managed it where my kids have been sat on the side because they've already played about 30 games of cricket for Ealing, and I've just taken the view that, or their mum has, that it's just too much. But I will also say we do rely on you guys to manage the teams, and I'm not expecting someone to come up on a Sunday to William Perkin and for their kid to sit on the sideline. So I guess there does have to be that quid pro quo. I'm not saying it gives them an automatic free pass to every single game. I mean, I'll tell you, so for example, last year, I think when it was against the Panthers, and I knew the Panthers were going to be a weak team because they had a league game. My boys didn't play. That they sat on the side on that occasion, and we really did get the slightly more developing players a chance. But otherwise, I think if you're managing the game, I think it probably is fair that your kid plays. But I would hope that they wouldn't play every single game, and that there might be that time where you're away and the fellow manager takes the takes that match. Is that fair? Does everyone sort of agree with that approach? I hope so.
Cool.
Look on the slides. Yeah, go on, Paul.
This work created by the manager before the game, because what you don't want is one has got 2 star A players,
Yeah.
and the other hasn't, and then you find people bowling against people who aren't at the same, anywhere near the same
So
level.
the point is a brilliant one, and I'll come on to this with collaboration between the managers. It's really important that the teams are evenly matched. So I'll come on to this point in a bit more detail, but you want to make sure that it's a good game of cricket because it's pairs cricket. It's a bit easier to organise. You want to make sure that you've got roughly the same number of ability from each team on each side, so that you can match the pairs up. So on the screen, I've put how to use Pitch Area Manager. So I hope everyone has downloaded it. You should all have access rights to it. I'll let you go through this slide on your own, but it's quite easy to use. Once you've downloaded it and logged in, go to the match centre, click on the fixture, then brings up the availability menu. You need to change the number of starters to 8, and you select the players from the list. I've already explained how to do that. When you've selected 8, you click on the prompt players button, which is there, and you then publish the team. And I would like that to be done by Monday of every week leading up to the game on the Sunday. And for the published team to be published by Thursday at the latest. So hopefully you'll have 8 players by Thursday. If you don't, then I will make sure that we've tried to fill the spot in either by someone from another team who's like the 9th or the 10th player, or it may be that some kids get to play 2 games on that weekend to make the numbers up.
Perhaps maybe some under-7 players who could.
Exactly, or some under-7s that are coming through that we've spotted, or the coach has spotted, that they'll get a game. That's a really good point, Paul. So that's Pitch Area Manager.
Sorry, Tom,
Is that different from? Sorry, is that different from normal Pitch Area?
It is. It's a special app, Martin. So you can add another cricket app to your phone, and I've screenshot what you need to search for on. Exactly. So if you go on the App Store, search for Pitch Area Manager. It's this app. Download it.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I've got your email address correct, and you can then log in using that email address that you've already given me, and it will then give you access to managing the teams on Pitch Area.
Cool. Okay, I must admit.
Don't worry, you're already ready.
Communication app, awesome.
Yeah,
right, I'll find it.
If anyone's put on here, please check if you've got access to Pitch Area Manager and pick it up with me privately if you haven't, and we'll get that sorted.
Sorry, Tom, I was just going to
go on, Dennis.
For anyone who hasn't been through this before, reminder that, or for those that have, you have to select your team to prompt the players, but then the parents have to accept that the kid's going to play. So there's that kind of multiple step process with team selection that can be confusing sometimes. If you select a team and they don't acknowledge, then you might show up with not a full team.
Yeah, Dennis is absolutely right. So on the FAQ document that I produced for the IFL and for the MJCA that all the parents have had, there I've explained that sort of 3-step process. So first of all, manager selects the team. Secondly, parents respond to the selection to say that they can that they can definitely play. And then thirdly, it's confirmed, and that's the team. So if they don't respond to the selection, you might need to pop another player in. So that's how that works. What I've put on the screen now is how to upload the team to Play Cricket Scorer. And this is quite a few people have not done this one before. It's a bit fiddly, but it saves you so much time on the day. So if you've uploaded the team in advance to Play Cricket Scorer, you can turn up at the game, you open your phone up, and the team is already on there. Just give me a second. I'm just going to quickly would someone just have a gentle word? So that's how we're going to that's how we're going to do that one. So to upload it onto Play Cricket Score, I've put a few slides on. You need to go to this website. You can then log in. It will ask you to log in, and you use the same login credentials that you have to Play Cricket Scorer. And you need to look for this button in the top right-hand corner. I've put arrows on all the slides, and I'll let you guys have a crack at doing that yourself. It is fiddly, but it's well worth doing. So go to site administration, and you go on the day-to-day. You click on the fixture management. That will then bring up this screen. You need to find your IFL team in the menu on the left. You then need to click on this logo here with the little men or women or whatever the logo is meant to be. And it will finally then bring you up with your list of players. And you want to add your 8 kids that are playing in that match. So you do that and then save it. And that is then on the system so that when you turn up and you're like starting the game with 5 minutes to spare, you open your phone, the team is already on there. And that saves so much time. So again, you might not be able to do it the first time you try, which is fine, but just come and ask me and I'll show everyone how to do it. Okay, so
That the website version?
yeah, it's got to be done on the desktop computer. So you have to do that on a desktop. You can do it on your phone if you put your phone into desktop mode, but you go to the website here and hopefully the slides are self-explanatory. But I know someone won't be able to do it because I couldn't do it. And I actually even asked Darren last week how to do it again because I'd forgotten. So hopefully that explains that. But it is fiddly, but believe me, it's much better to be doing that on a Saturday night than it is trying to do it at the last minute on a Sunday and find you're 20 minutes late starting. Okay. Right, so we're now into the match situation. You've turned up at William Perkins School on a Sunday morning. I wouldn't worry too much about this because I will set up the game. I'll set the pitch up for the first few weeks, and I think Paul will be setting it up for a couple of the games, or the Titans team. I think one of you guys who've done it before. All the kit will be there. It will be somewhere. I'm yet to be told where, but I will pass that information on. 30-yard boundary, so make it 30 yards. Try and give them a chance to hit a 6. So we want short boundaries, lots of boundaries, make it fun for the kids. The pitch length. So this is a change from last year. I found that 17 yards for some of the younger kids bowling a softball was too long. And what we're going to do this year is if they're bowling with a hard ball, it's a 17-yard pitch. Like that's safe and it's consistent with the MJCA. But if they're bowling with a softball, we're going to do it off 15 yards. Okay. And again, that's consistent with the MJCA. So if they're playing in a softball game in under-9 league, they're all meant to be 15-yard pitches, which is ridiculous for some of our bowlers who are rapid with a softball. But that's what the rule is. I managed a game at Acton a couple of years ago where it was a 15-yard pitch and all our softball bowlers were bowling beamers because they weren't used to it because of the IFL. So that's what we're going to do. There'll be 2 creases marked on the ground with tape. And as the manager or the umpire, you just need to move the stumps. And I'll put a marker down on the ground and I'll write on it 17 and 15. So that softball 15, hardball 17.
So we need to move the stumps.
You need to move the stumps at the standing umpire's end.
The run also becomes shorter.
The run up.
The run of
exactly. Yeah, the running becomes shorter. And don't worry.
These are smaller kids.
Yeah, they're smaller kids, and it will be marked on the ground with tape. So there will be 2 sets of creases at the bowling end. And I'll probably do it with different colour tape so you can see which one's which. But don't worry, it will all be set up. It will be marked on the ground. It will be really clear. The wickets, the bails, the scoreboard, the first aid kit, they will all be in a locked place at William Perkin. That I've been asking where that place is for about 6 weeks, and I'm yet to be told, but I will be told before next Sunday. Otherwise, I'll go up there and find it myself. The scoreboard is something that I made. It was a DIY piece of kit, and it's a load of fun because you can put all the team names on it, and it's really important in cricket that the kids know the score because that's what cricket's about. It's about scoring runs, taking wickets. So make sure that the scoreboard is used and that it is kept up to date because
a digital scoreboard.
Oh, Michael, if only it was. I mean, there has been chat about making a digital scoreboard, but I think that probably would not be tolerated if I tried that one. But yeah, use the scoreboard. I've been to too many games of cricket, particularly the indoor ones, where nobody knows what the score is. And so how are the kids meant to adjust and learn how to play the game when they don't know whether they're chasing 5 or whether they're 5 in front? So use the scoreboard and get someone to keep it updated, and it's fun. It gets everyone involved. So that's the pitch. We've got 15 minutes left, I think. The basic rules of the IFL, I think I've covered some of this. So it's 8-a-side pairs cricket. You start on 200. You lose 5 runs if you're out. If you're out, you don't face the next ball. That's including if it's at the end of the over. So that's a slight exception to changing ends when you're batting. All the overs are bowled from the same end. And so the batters change ends at the end of the over unless they were out. So you don't want someone that's been out facing the next ball, because they need to go to the other end and just chill out a bit and, get their head back on so that they're not all too upset from getting out, which they shouldn't be anyway, because you'll have told them at the start that it doesn't matter if they get out and it's all about hitting 4s and 6s, and don't worry about it. We're not doing LBWs, but if you're umpiring a game, you need to make sure that kids don't stand in front of the stumps, because it's not fair on the bowler. Every other mode of dismissal is available in cricket, but we are not doing run-outs at the non-striker's end before the ball has been bowled. That is named after a player that used to do it, but it's not acceptable anymore to call it after that player's name. So we don't do that sort of dismissal. That's in line with the MJCA rules. We don't want to see kids running up, pretending to bowl it and then knocking the stumps off. It wastes time. I still don't think that the rules should have been changed to include it as a mode. It's just not cricket, and we don't want to see it. And it just don't do it, and encourage them not to do it. So if you see one, okay, it's funny, don't do it again, please. Thanks very much. So every pair gets 4 overs. We're not timing people out. No, that's true. So that's another exception. But they'll all be ready anyway, because you'll have told the parents the over before to get them padded up. So 4 overs per batting pair, that gives you a 16-over game. And every player is going to bowl 2 overs, including the wicketkeeper, which takes a bit of planning, because you need to make sure that the next one's ready to get their pads on. You need to make, sometimes the wicketkeeper happens to be the best bowler as well, so they need to make sure they're all paired up properly. So I don't really want this to be an aspiration that people bowl 2 overs. I want everyone to bowl 2 overs. So make sure they're all paired up against the correct batting ability pair, and then they can go and bowl 2 overs with a bent arm and throw it, and it can bounce 6 times. That's fine. They've played a game of cricket and they've had an equal chance. I don't want it to be that, if you can't bowl properly or you're a weaker player, that you're only getting 1 over, and then some borough kid who can knock people over is getting 3. It's not what it's about. How do we do catering for hard and soft ball players? Well, there's a lot of detail on that slide, which I'll let people read in their own time. But really what this is down to is cooperation between the managers. And it's a point Paul was, I think, making earlier. So the batting pair get to choose whether they want to play hard ball or soft ball. It goes without saying, if they're playing hard ball, they've got to wear the full protective kit. We're not doing mixed pairs. So we don't want the situation where you've got one hard ball player and one soft ball player. The reason for that is that the bowler keeps having to change the ball. And actually, it's quite hard to bowl with Incredible. And then the next ball, you've got to bowl a cricket ball. And then it's back to an Incredible. What we found with that is that the Incredible tended to be a beamer because it was a lighter ball. So we're not doing that. So you might have a situation where you've got 5 kids that want to play hardball. You'll just have to say to one of them, sorry, you have to play softball this week. Next week, you'll get to put your pads on. So again, when you're pairing the kids up, I've seen this in previous years where, this is a shocker, where you've got like an under 9A kid who gets paired up with an under 8B, and the manager has said to the under 9A player to hog the strike to try and score the most runs and basically take a run when the other kid's on strike. We're not doing that this year. That's just not happening. So what I want to see is kids of the same ability level paired together, generally. You might have an under 9B who is a good under 9B. You can put them with an under 9A. That's fine. But we don't want that situation where there's a big mismatch in the pairs, because what you then find is that you have to put the faster bowlers on. and that's not fair on the under 8B player who has to face a rapid bowler. So same ability pairs.
Sorry, just on
yeah.
the flip side of
Go on,
that,
Bob.
if you had someone who was not attempting to hit 3 balls in a row, could you then, is it a good idea to swap them over and, you know, two weaker pairs maybe? You swap them over?
I'm not really one for changing the strike if they're not hitting the ball, because I think it doesn't do world of good for their confidence if they've been moved off the strike.
Right, okay.
I think the way to combat this is to make sure that the batters are of equal ability when they're paired together, and that then you collaborate with the other manager and you make sure in advance that they know what your batting order is, so that they can then plan which bowlers to pair against those kids. So your role is as a facilitator. We're not trying to win games by gaming the system. What you're doing is you and I've put this on the slide, you get together with your opposite number on WhatsApp or on the day of the game, and you say, look, here's my list, and I've given you the spreadsheet on here so you know which team each kid's in. That's not been more widely published, but I'm happy to share it. And you can see which kids are in which group, and you pair them together as a pair. You give that to the opposite number, and then he knows, right, I've got, you know, 2 under 9A kids opening the batting, so I'm going to put my 2 fastest bowlers on against them. And the second pair is a softball pair. Okay, so I'm going to put my slower under 8B bowlers onto them. So that makes it a little mini game between those kids of the same ability, and they then have a whole load of fun.
So I was just thinking more in terms of like 7 and 8, 2 guys who never played before. That was more.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to use your judgment on the day. Like, I'm not really one for, you know, forcing the strikes. I think it's not so good for those people. Okay. So that's how you collaborate with the opposite number.
The WhatsApp message before the game's good with the batting order, and immediately you can pair each other up.
It's almost as though someone has seen these slides already, because there you go. The first point on the next slide, batting order. Work this out the day before and send via WhatsApp, so parents can help get the next pair ready. That gives your team the batting order, so they know what they're going to do. Parents know they can look at the WhatsApp or who's in next. They don't have to keep shouting onto the pitch to ask you. It's on there. You can send the same message to your opposite number so they can get planning the day before. And it just saves so much stress on the day. If it's all done, you know, it's easy to do. It's just having the same thinking that you do on the day. You're just doing that thinking a couple of days before. And it's just all about good planning. So yeah, come 20 minutes before the start of the game, the captain. Kids love to be the captain of a cricket team. Make sure that for the first game, you select an under 8B to be the captain. Let them go and do the toss. Yeah, let the grandparents come on and take a photo with them flipping the coin and calling it. Get all the family round, get them involved. They will absolutely love it. In fact, I'd go as far as I don't want any of the borough players to ever captain a game in the IFL. It's just completely pointless. And it doesn't mean anything because you'll be setting the field anyway, making sure they're all in the right place. But to that kid and to their parents, like being the captain on a day, you know, they will absolutely love it. And also get the kids to sit down before the game and encourage them to decide what they want to do if they win the toss. And then they tell the captain and he then goes and does the toss. Don't be involved in that as the IFL manager. I quite like to sit the kids down, let them work it out. You take it 10 paces away, give them 20 seconds to work it out, and then crack on. Try and get that done 10 minutes before the start of the game. Bring a coin. I'll do it with a coin. Don't do rock, paper, scissors. You know, it's not like a basketball game or something. It's a tradition. It's part of cricket. It's great to see. Do it. Put a coin in your bag or something and do that. I've already covered keeping to schedule. The wicket keeper. Yeah, this is a good point that someone else raised. Make sure in advance of the game that someone in your team has got a pair of wicketkeeper gloves. Even if they're not prepared to be the keeper, get them to bring the keeper gloves along so that someone else can borrow them. And yeah, plan who's going to be the keeper. And as I said, because they're also going to need to bowl, it needs a bit of planning on who's going to do what when. So have a think about your bowling order when you get the batting list through. Goes without saying that you should always encourage and support the players. So if someone does a misfield, you know, we're not looking to criticise ever. Just encourage them and support them. No negative feedback or comments ever. At the end of the game, I'd really like to keep this like little ritual going, which I think is Chris's idea. It's a brilliant idea. rather than just doing a handshake and everyone goes their own way. Get your players together and select a player from the opposite team who you thought had a really good spirit of cricket type of game. So not the kid that's gone and smashed it out of the park and hit all the goats on the banks in St Augustine's, but someone who did something great, like if they've never played cricket before, or let's say they did a diving catch and dropped it but burnt their arm on the AstroTurf. I don't know. They put a load of effort in. Select that player to be the player of the match. And then your team captain, so it might be the same under 8B, who you chose, they will simply walk to the opposite team and shake that player's hand. The other team will reciprocate, and then everyone shakes that. And it's a really nice thing to do. And again, it's sort of a special moment for some kids. You might need to step in to make sure they don't just keep selecting the loudest under 8A, under 9A kids. They encourage them to choose someone a bit different. And it's good for the club as well, because it gets them to all know each other's names. So that's running a game, umpiring a game. So you know where you stand. I've already covered that. The rules will quickly come on to, because we've got 5 minutes left. Please, when you're umpiring a game, be objective. We are not trying to win a game. Explain it to the kids, why it's out or why it's not out. Just pause the game. I quite like to sometimes say, I'm just going to pause the game for a minute and explain it, because it's all about learning the game. And you can include the parents in this as well. So you need to come over a bit and speak a bit more loudly, so you're explaining it and being really clear. They'll understand, and you won't have to deal with people shouting on from the boundary or offering their own opinion, again, because you've included them. Yeah, I've covered the no mobile phone DRS review system. We don't operate that in the IFL, and I really don't want to see anyone trying that one. Or, by all means, video the game, but we're not doing that. The scorer. So I know the managers, you've all got Play Cricket access, Play Cricket scorer. Ideally, it would be a separate volunteer, so someone sitting on the side by the scoreboard. So your co-manager or another parent would be scoring it. But it is possible to score a game and umpire it if you're absolutely desperate. I've done that, but it's just nice to have someone else doing it, because it gets them all involved.
Let's say one thing on the score.
Go on, Paul. Yeah.
If the phone runs out of battery, you have a problem.
Yeah.
So it's good if someone's got a power bank.
Yeah.
This is a really good point. Yeah, I think I've not included it on the slides. Bring a battery pack, because Play Cricket scorer drains the battery because it syncs every over with the server.
You got to turn off the wagon wheel as well. That's
Yeah, so we'll come on to that. So yeah, bring a ball counter and know the umpiring signals. So I've done a slide on those.
for the American.
For the Americans in the room. So make sure you know them, and tell the kids as well what they mean. And it's just really good, so they get to learn the game. Safety, really important point. I've covered protective equipment for hardball players. I'd recommend that you wear a undershirt on the AstroTurf, like a skin, or like a long sleeve top underneath, and also possibly even for the trousers, because you get burnt like diving around. Fielders have got to be 11 yards back from the batter. As the umpire and running a game, make sure they're all watching it and paying attention. And as I say, we are including some younger players, and there's a hard ball flying around. So it may not be appropriate for that. The younger players who've never had a hard ball to, say, field at square leg, where often a hard flat shot gets hit. So you just need to use your judgment. Maybe put them back at third man on the boundary, or they can go find leg where the ball's going to come along the floor to them. But it's always 11 yards away. Younger players who might normally play softball, stand them a bit further back. But again, it's a good chance for them to get a cricket ball in their hand and feel the game. Keep a lookout for dangerous bowling. Hopefully that won't happen too much at this level, but we have to be aware of it. And kit to wear in the different weather conditions. Again, just put this all out on the WhatsApp group. Okay, the rule on wides is an automatic rule. So there's no discretion in calling a wide. And this just takes the stress out of the game. It means that it's easy for you guys umpiring a game. There'll be 2 lines of tape on the ground. If the ball goes either side of that line, whether it's on the offside or the leg side, just call it as a wide. There's no discretion. It's simple. It's an automatic 2 runs. Doesn't matter if the batter moves or where they stand. It's just straightforward, and it makes it really easy for the kids to understand as well, because there's like a line and a marker. Encourage the batters to hit the ball. So even if it would otherwise be a wide, they can go and whack it. And it's 2 runs plus any buys, and it's not rebowled. So that's a wide. Okay, a no ball. Again, these are automatic rules, so there's no discretion. It makes it easy for you guys and easy for the kids to understand. It can bounce twice in the IFL, but if it bounces more than twice, it's a no ball.
Is there some discretion on this? If it's a bowler, who's
No.
under 7?
No discretion. So it's just straightforward and simple. If it bounces 3 times, it's a no ball. What you can do is you might say you can bowl even closer than 15 yards. But I'm hoping that the coaching here at Ealing is so fantastic that we won't have too many of those type of bowlers at under 8 level. Waist high full tosses, that's for the standing umpire to call, but you can take guidance from the square leg. So again, I don't want to see the situation where the square leg umpire is standing there every time with their arm out because it's a marginal call and they think they're going to get 2 runs for their team every time by no balling it. It's not what we're interested in. It's for you as the standing umpire to make the final. You can look over. If it's obvious, then it's a no ball, but we're not bowling fast balls here, so we don't really want no balls to decide games. Ideally, kids wouldn't throw it and they would have been coached how to bowl properly, so try to discourage it, but sometimes it's unavoidable. We won't call those as no balls. I've put on there for front foot no balls how that's going to work. So basically, if they're an under 9 A-team player, you give them 1 warning, and for all the other kids, you give them 2 warnings. After that, call the no ball. So again, no discretion. So it just makes it really simple. There's some special rules on here if you're unable to field a full team. And as I've said, just let me know if you've not got 8 and I'll try and make it up to 8. If we can't get 8 out, we will play a 6 or a 7-a-side game. And I've explained on that slide what will happen in that event. So again, it's just all about making it fair. And pretty much finally, what happens if the weather's no good? Well, please don't keep messaging on Saturday or Sunday. Oh, are the games going ahead? Oh, are they going ahead? The games will go ahead. Okay, they're all on until I say they're off. And that, again, it makes it really simple. So there's no rumours and, oh, is it on, is it off? The game is on. I will cancel it if the bad weather criteria are satisfied, which I've put on there. And I'll try to do that as early as I can. But I will never call a match off purely because BBC Weather has got a load of blue rain on it. Because you can actually play IFL cricket in a light drizzle. And I'd much rather play the games in a little tiny bit of rain when it's 15 degrees, when many of these kids are playing football or rugby in 2-3 degrees in the mud. So it's safe, it's on an AstroTurf pitch, you can wear appropriate footwear. So I want to try and play as many of the games as we can. But of course, if it is unsafe, then we will call them off. And just to underline the rules on thunder and lightning, this is all from the umpire's guide. We've got to stop play in the events that are set out there. If there's a lightning flash or a big thunderclap near the ground, you've got to leave the ground for 30 minutes. You've got to take shelter, which will be in the pavilion at William Perkin. Okay, that is the presentation, and I think it's pretty much at 8 o'clock. So thanks very much to everybody for coming along. Are there any final questions or things that I've missed?
What happens about the tops? I assume there's
yeah, Ben, really good question. So for the IFL, every team will get a shirt, and those will be given to you guys before the start of the season, and then you give them to the players on the first match, which is on the 27th. So they all get a coloured shirt which matches the colours that are on the grid that I've sent around. Yeah. Anyone else?
Are we giving balls?
Yeah, I will give you the cricket balls as well. So you probably get a couple of hard balls and a couple of Incrediballs. Write your team name on it. Keep them safe. I think a couple of cricket balls should last the season really in the IFL because they're not going to get hit out into the goats this year. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else on Zoom? Sam, Sajid, anything from you guys?
Nothing that I can think of at the moment. A lot of stuff to take in.
Yeah, and
a few games will help.
Yeah, brilliant. And thanks so much for coming along, everybody.